Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is men dating single mothers, the risks, realities, and rewards. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive at 5 with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, cancer survivor and advocate Tamika Walker and I discuss from diagnosis to purpose. You can head over to YouTube and type in Intellectual Radio and stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, "Single mothers, a man who truly loves you will see your child as a part of you to love and not a woman that has another man's child." We are so grateful for our sponsor today. We have Emmanuel Church of God in Christ with Pastor Michael Richardson, who has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emmanuel Kojic at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emmanuel Kojic-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson. And we're from the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
If you are tuned in on any form of social media, like the show, share the show, and invite someone else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information. Co-hosting with me today is none other than the cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, Rizal Gilmore, aka Liz. Hey, Rizal.
Hey, Lady ReShell. Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Ooh, can you believe that this is our last show for me and you for the year? We only get 12 shows out of the year. And it felt like just like a month ago, I said, this year is going to fly by so fast. We're saying Happy New Year. And here we are back at it again. Like it's going really fast.
I don't even know where the time went. So, oh my God. It is going really fast. I'm not ready I'm not ready for the snow or the cold that we're having right now. So I'm just.
Ooh. I have been watching it on TV. God bless y'all who still continue to live there in the Windy City and deal with the snow and those temperatures. I just couldn't do it anymore. My back could not take another snowstorm.
Oh my goodness. I'm just not ready. But you think being here all this time, I would be used to it, but I'm not.
So I think it's the unpacking. Do you have like a closet for your winter clothes and a closet for your summer clothes? And, when it start to get cool, or, you go through all the Yeah.
And
God bless y'all.
I want to hold on to summer clothes and my toes out and just all of that. All of it. But we have a good topic today. It's a sensitive topic, but it's a juicy topic. So I'm hoping that individuals that hear the topic can walk away just feeling empowered with some new information. And I also want to hear from listeners too. So if you would like to call into the show today and add your perspective to the topic, you can. You can call in at 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. And we would love to hear from you. And so we're talking about men dating single women, the risks, the realities, and the rewards. So I always want to start off with a video first, and then we can kind of like go from there. So here you go.
understand something. Not everybody gonna see your worth. Not everybody gonna see your gift as a blessing. They gonna see it as a curse. Not everybody gonna understand that you have a commitment, that you're responsible for a life, that your time is a little bit more valuable, that you can't just waste it on anybody, that if you carve out time for somebody, they need to take it seriously. Not everybody gonna be ready for that. Not everybody gonna be ready to understand that they gotta be on their, because you can't afford to play around with men that are experiments. And when you turn on and you look on the internet, you're going to see people trying to bash and make you seem like you are less valuable. When, boo, you are more. You are more valuable because now you have learned lessons that helped you become a better person. You take care of a life. You brought life. And there's people that depend on you. And you grind a little bit harder because of that. You're more responsible because of that. And some people want people that ain't. They're going to be men. They're going to be on the internet disparaging you, telling you that you're not worthy, that you can't find a good man because you got a child. Those ain't for you. My biggest advice to a single mom is stop worrying about the men that don't want you and focus on the men that do. There are men that would love to eat all those fruit snacks you got in that house.
Okay. All right. That was a lot. He packed a lot into that. So, men dating single women. Let's talk about some of those risks. But first, I want to start with Rizal. What are some of the things that you have heard from men in the past or recently about just dating a single woman or a single mom, I should say?
Dating a single mom, things I don't need you. Independence.
No, backwards. Okay, this is what men are saying, right?
Right. And then what you asked me what women, which
I thought you were saying the woman, but the woman was saying. But go ahead.
yeah, what the men, you asked me what the men are saying. Yeah. The men are saying that the woman is saying that they don't need you. They're independent. And it seems to be about a money thing with them. What's that? 3. There's also the time, the children. That's 5, right? That's 5 right there. Let's work off those 5.
What was the first one you said?
I don't need you.
So this is the reason why men do not want to date women with children is because the women are telling them that they don't need them.
Correctamundo. Yes. And you're never going to get a man that way. I've noticed in the past couple years, there's no effort in neither person trying. It just goes right into what are you bringing to the table? How much money are you making? And it's always bills, bills, bills. It's always going to be a struggle in any relationship, in any marriage. That's always going to be there. But to put it up front before we even start anything, it's a super turn off. Super duper turn off. You counting my pockets, counting the pockets more than I am.
Oh, so we're talking about money now. Not good. Okay.
Well, that's the part of I don't need you if you're not doing anything for me and my kids.
Okay. So then you have women who are already taking care of their household without the man there, right? They're already functioning. The kids are getting whatever they need without the man being there. And then all of a sudden I meet this man and now all of a sudden I need your money to help run my household.
Yep. So basically what I have heard, seen, and actually on occasion have encountered from women was, yeah, I got this part taken care of. So what are we doing? And I think it's a disguise that they may be getting by, but they're really not getting ahead, if that makes sense. They're just getting by. So they figure if somebody else comes into the picture, and they see them as, oh, this could be a good benefit for me and my family, they're going to try to push the envelope like, well, look, this is where we at. Little JJ need this, and little Bam Bam need that, and so forth and so forth. Can you help me? So now it becomes am I there to get to know you, or am I there to get to know how much I can help?
So the single women are saying that they're independent, they don't need the man. And then when the man is there, they're asking for money. And then if they're not willing to help, they don't need you.
They don't need you, then you're cut off. So they're back to asking whoever the other guy was, maybe a relative, maybe mama, or whoever the case that's been helping them out. So they're going to stay stuck in that same cycle.
All right. What was the other one? So that was 3. You had 5.
That was independent. Oh, time. So biggest thing with time, women who has, a significant amount of kids seems to have no time. And that's because her time is caught up with the kids. Understand, you got to take care of the kids. You got to do what you got to do. But when did you find time for me and you? How am I supposed to get to know you before I get to know the kids or anything? Actually, I don't even want to be introduced to your kids right away or right up front. Let me get to know you before you start bringing them around and saying, hey, this is this person. And, I don't want them to get the idea in their head that I'm going to be here for a while and I'm going to be daddy or whatever or whatever the case. Because if things don't work out with me and you, now there's a big problem. And this kid's going to have issues later on.
No, I mean, I totally agree on that one, not introducing the kids. And I would try to push it off for as long as I could for them not to meet the child, because once you start getting the kids involved, the kids get attached, and, then when you decide, oh, we were just dating, we were just collecting data, so like he doesn't fit, so I'm not dating him anymore. And then the kids looking at you like, okay. So I would say don't, not unless you know that it's serious. I wouldn't introduce it.
That's right, because they're going to ask questions. They're going to ask you what happened to the lad, whoever he is. They're going to ask you what happened to him. And then you got to sit there and come up with an excuse, and it becomes like a revolving door, a cycle, because you haven't found, that one, and every name out your mouth is a different name. It's never a steady, it's never a steady name or a steady person that you're actually stuck and settling down with. It's just person after person.
Right. So especially if you're in that dating phase, like they shouldn't be meeting anybody. It should be like they wouldn't even know that I'm going on a date. I'll be like, oh, mommy's going out, I'll be back. They don't even have to know that you're going on a date with anybody. Just, make sure that they're taken care of at home. Go have your time with that person while you're collecting data, come home, and they don't even have to know. It's when you get them involved. Now, yeah, it looks like, oh, we had a lot of uncles that came through the house. Like, that's irresponsible. I feel like it's very irresponsible. If you're doing it.
What's great, as much as sometimes I disagree with the videos that you play, I actually kind of agree with this guy. Nobody ain't got no time to be wasting with nobody. But I do understand that you have to take the time to get to know somebody. And that's where a lot of the mistakes come from, because people just jump into things without actually knowing the person. And that's why I always say, be friends first. Always be friends. I don't care if y'all be friends for 2 years and y'all never dated. You will definitely get to know the ins and outs of this person with 2 years under your belt, how they are. When they get to the point where you feel as though you can't do without that person, then you start thinking and looking, you know what? Maybe we can cross the line. Maybe things will be okay. They showed me they crazy. They showed me their madness, already. I understand how they move and, this and that. So then at that point later on, it may be a consideration.
I'll be friends to a certain extent. Like if I know that I'm attracted to that person and I want to have something with that person, I wouldn't keep them, excuse me, in the friend zone too long. Like I wouldn't keep them in the friend zone too long. I would, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of us are probably not friends with the person that we dated. Like a lot of us are not keeping those friendships if it was really based on friendship, just a friend.
So I don't know. I mean, you take them out of the friend zone. Understand, you want to let them know, like, hey, you're interested. But I think throughout that time that you two will be, whether it's flirting or finding that attraction and just taking your time with it. So it's not necessarily even though you're friends, you're not necessarily in the friend zone. You kind of teetering like, okay, this could be moving forward as this can be something without it being, nope, I'm not doing this because you're just a friend. No, we can't do that because you're just a friend. But something to show, little, hey, I like you, you like me. Let's talk.
Do you feel like if you start off in that friend zone, right, then I feel like that person can actually get to know who you are as a single mother versus coming in judging you by what everybody is saying about single mothers? Because I feel like I compare it to women who are afraid to get a mammogram, right? Because someone went and got a mammogram and was said, "Oh, the mammogram hurt. Girl, you don't want to go get no mammogram. They gonna squeeze your breast up in there. And you're gonna be in pain for days." And so a lot of women like, I ain't going to get no mammogram. And so you have men that have been burnt or been left with a bad taste in their mouth from a single mother. And so they spread the news to other guys like, nope, you don't want to be bothered with a single mother, when that may have been your scenario, but it may not be true for the next person.
Right. That is true. I tend not to listen to the gossip about a person, but I do keep it in hand. When they do, if everybody is saying the same thing about an individual, there must be some truth to it, somewhere. But I'm there to be as a friend to find out and see it firsthand before I get myself caught up in anything. Because there are women, I think one of the biggest things, and this is just guy talk, you have a woman let's use you as an example. You have 5 kids, 6 kids?
I have 5.
You have some?
I have 5.
Okay, you have some. A thing from another guy, if he was to date you, hey, she got blah, X amount of kids, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to put you on blast about that. And even if you're not even like, you two are just in the talking phase and you're not putting out to say at that time, it's like, why wait now? You got 5 kids. You've been doing it all along this, for this amount of time for you to get to where you are. Now, all of a sudden, you want to get holy and sanctified with the situation. So that will spread, and make the female, it will make her look bad. And then another person will, go ahead and try. But another man's garbage is another man's treasure. It just all depends.
And maybe I feel like maybe that person wasn't worthy. Maybe it was something that you felt about that person to where you said, no, I don't want to give it to this person. Like, and that's how I be sometimes. Sometimes women be just like that. We can sit and talk and then the intuition kicks in and you're like, no, okay, we can hang out, but I'm not going. That's as far as I'm going with this person, even if I have kids at home. And I know a lot of times, I'm sorry, a lot of times people feel like he said, like the guy said, they kind of feel like you're discounted when you have kids, right? They kind of count you out when you have kids, and you should settle for whomever and whatever relationship that you can get. But like he said, you go where the people like you go where the people are celebrating you and not just tolerating you because you are a single mother. A single mother is not a curse, um, because you didn't have those kids by yourself. It was two people, two people. Some people are single because they may be widowed. Some people are single because they got divorced. Some people are single because they were in relationships where they felt this is my person and it didn't work out. And some people may have had one night stands or just there was a situationship and now they got pregnant. Which is
And I know people with everything that you just named and said, it's it's crazy. Uh, oh, you did forget one. Well, no, they're not single. The ones who be waiting for the guys who's locked up. When the judge said 15, that's it. He just gave you your walking papers. You free, baby. They want to wait for these guys in jail and miss out on other opportunities. You know, that right there was a sign. I don't get that part. Why? You about to get me all hot.
I mean, if you waiting on your man while he in jail, that's great. I'm not that person. Lisa said maybe the woman makes a decision she wants more and will no longer be a matter for anyone. A mattress, or I'm sorry,
A mattress for anyone.
I thought it said that. A mattress. Ooh, okay. And I think a lot of women do feel that way. A lot of women get to the point to where they try to stick by the man, give the man a chance, and you tell them what's wrong, what's going on, and then just nothing over and over again. And then you just, because we know divorce, women are normally the one who, initiate divorce. So I think a lot of women just get fed up and they just be like, I'm out of here. If I'm going to do bad, guess what? I'm going to do bad all by myself.
Not all the time it's the woman. Sometimes the man too. You got a lot of women who just saying really got it all up there, or you didn't see those things in the beginning from this woman, or you seen them and you ignored them because we always try to make the wrong person the right person, and that's where we fail at in this whole dating game. Because we're like, oh, you know what? They look good, but they got this attitude. I think I can fix the attitude. So then I'll have a person with a good attitude and look good. It doesn't work like that. You have to accept it and understand that when they show you who they are, that's who they are. Things are not going to change. You are either going to have to deal with it or walk. And if they're disturbing your peace, for me, I'm walking. I'm out of there. I am not dealing with it, especially at this age and time and period in my life. It's just too much.
And I feel like if you have preferences, then I'm okay with your preferences. If your preference is, especially if you are a man who don't have kids and you have a desire not to have kids, or you just don't have kids yet, and you don't want to take on the responsibility of raising someone else's kid. I'm like, I'm okay with you having your preferences of not dating someone who has kids, because people have preferences all the time. They don't want to date someone that's overweight. They don't want to date someone that's too short. They don't want to date someone that's dark skinned. They don't want to date someone that's like people have preferences all the time. And it's okay to have preferences, but if I'm not your preference, I don't need to hear it, especially if I'm not trying to be in your circle. Like, I don't care. I'm
But again, if you're not my preference, and I'm looking strong body for my why am I even talking to you? Obviously, we must just be friends because I'm not trying to go or do, I'm not trying to take this anywhere. So you're definitely that's a hardwired friend zone right there.
right. I don't need to hear that I'm not your preference. Especially if I'm not coming on to you, I don't care. Your preference is your preference.
Hmm.
I don't need to hear it.
Do you think somebody who's not your preference, but you grew to like them, in that manner, can be a long-term consideration down the line? Or are you going to still be stuck in your ways on what you want?
Your preference is your preference. And I think if what your preference is makes you happy or it makes you feel like you're complete, then you should stick with your preference. Once you start compromising, and then probably somewhere down the line you'll be like, I knew I should have just left this person alone. So I think it's just like your core values. Stick with your core values. Don't waver on those values. If you say, I want someone who's a Christian, and the man says, I'm a Muslim, and you say, oh, but I love him, he looks this way and that way. And maybe that's who that man is. That's who he is.
Yep. And the Muslims always trying to get you to convert over to their religion.
5 years, and every day he was feeding my brain with something.
They're always trying to convince you to come over.
I was like, man, please. Now, if he had probably got me at 21, he probably would have wanted me over. But yeah, he probably would have, yeah. So I feel like, and your preference, we could be so superficial when it comes to preferences, right? And you may miss out on some good people, especially if your preferences are superficial. But if that's what you need, if that's what you feel like you need and you want, then stick to your preferences.
I've had women who missed out on me. When I say they missed out on me, they were still, it was something with like the ex-boyfriend. If he's the ex-boyfriend, why are you still dealing with him when we're trying to move forward and work on things with us? I don't get that one either. You was a single mom, fine. I don't mind that, because you're not going to find too many women out here who don't have kids, especially at our age. So you're going to have to deal with it. Once in a blue, you might run across, but really by that time, the kids are grown. Now, if they little kids, hold on. We need the terrible towel. We need to pause for the cause on that one. Mm-mm. At our age with little kids, no, not in this house. They ain't driving. Them kids will drive you crazy. No, sir. I'm sorry. She can say what she want to say or do but you want to live your life. You want to raise your kids. I'm sorry. It's just no going back. It'll be a pass for me, no matter how hard it would be and how much I liked and what she did, but I just wouldn't be able to do it. That's just me. I'm sorry, baby.
And that's like, it's okay to have that preference to say, no, I don't want to deal with that. I want to be able to go when we want to go. I don't want to have to be trying to find no babysitter, or baby get sick, then you changing plans. Like, no. And that's okay. You can't get mad at somebody because that's what they prefer. That's what they prefer.
Oh, well, they do. They do.
Yeah, I know they do. And some people, I want to talk about them saying women, because you have kids, you have baggage. It's too much baggage. Like it's a lot of responsibility. And I say, if you approach someone and in your initial conversation, if they say, I have children, and you know that you don't want to deal with someone with children, I would say cut that conversation short right there and be like, yeah. It was nice meeting you.
That's why that question is in about my top 5. How many kids do you have? If you have 3 or more, it's a no for me. It's a pass. And then I need to know the age. That's later. Okay, you got 3. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she got 3. That's like my limit. But she really does look good. She seems to be like, she can really work out even with the 3 kids. And I'm debating with myself back and forth now. Do I want to continue talking with it? So let me go ahead and ask my other questions to see if you line up with those questions, because that could be the determining factor if we're going to continue this or not.
Exactly. I would say to women that have children, like, you have to talk to a special caliber of man, right? You just can't just subject yourself and your children to any type of man. There are some men out here that don't care how many kids you have. Like, if they like you, then guess what? They like your kids. And some may say, oh, sometimes it's an exception to the rule. I mean, I know a guy who he married a lady who has 6 kids, and they've been married going on like 30 some years. So it just depends on that man and how he feels. Some people don't care, and he had kids of his own too. So it's not like he couldn't have kids or he's coming into it with just your kids. It depends on the man, and it is men out here that do want or don't care if you have kids. You just have to put yourself in a position to encounter those men and not entertain the men that say they don't want to be bothered with women who don't have kids. As soon as they say they don't, to remove yourself. Don't even try to continue the conversation or convince that person otherwise. That's just
and actually be open to actually getting to know that man. Try to put at least a good 100% into actually getting to know him before shutting him down or shutting him off. No, because he really could be. Because he really could be genuine in his process of wanting to.
You just said when they show you or tell you who they are, believe them. So if this man says, I don't want to date anyone with kids, or I don't want kids and I don't want to date anyone with kids, why am I going to continue to talk to you in that way?
But we was talking about the women with the 6, you just said the woman with the 6 kids and they got married, and that man, because I'm quite sure before that guy came along, there was other men, and she got heartbroken by those men. So she could have had the attitude going forward, thinking because of past relationships or past dealings that, oh, here's just another guy that I'm not going to get to know because he's going to turn me down because I got 6 kids. And that guy turned out to be the one. That's all I was trying to say, is just be open to, that person.
That's true. And you do have to move cautiously because you have the kids, because you're not going to be the only one involved. So you just can't, every time somebody's in your face, be like, oh yeah, I think this gonna work. He gonna be no, you can't. You have to really vet a person before you move forward with them. Mm-hmm. So some people say that one of the risks are for men that are dating single women is that the women are just looking for a father figure for their kids.
In some cases, yes. Other women will say he has a father or he has an individual to look up to. You ain't got to worry about that. But if I'm stepping into this relationship, and we're past talking and I'm stepping into a relationship, I'm not counting him as being a father, because now I'm the daddy. I'm the pappy.
No, you're not. She's not the pappy.
Maybe not biologically, but I am the pappy going forward, especially we're getting married and, wedding bells and blah, 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 all this.
Yeah. Once you're married, then you become what they call the bonus dad, or some people just say dad. But if they have a father in their life, you can't, especially if the father is active, you can't discount the father.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, we definitely have a conversation because I'm the person that's going to be around his kids,
Right.
and I'm not trying to take anything from him. Let him be a dad, but he has to understand my role and my place as well.
Do you feel that, Rizal, that some men may not be able to like have that relationship or communicate with the other father? Like they don't want to be bothered with that dynamic, so they're like, no, I don't want to do that. Like they're not mature enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna come to him and say, hey, I'm living in this household. This is my woman, or this is my wife. So your kid is here. We need to have an understanding, just like a blended family. We need to all be on the same page so we can raise the child, in a good way. So I think some people just may not want to do that. Like it may be a pride thing, like, oh, we don't need him.
To your question, yes, definitely. It is definitely a ego thing because I'm telling you, men think once we have had you, you're like ours forever. So if you're there playing in what was my backyard, for some men, it's going to be a problem. It's like they don't know how to let go. They can't let go. So it's an issue between you and that man. And you and the woman could have been done long time ago. But if that was the case, you should have fixed what you had. And don't be mad at me because you stepped down and I wanted to step up. You can't be mad at me for that. And I'm taking care of your kids. But yes, it is definitely an ego thing. It's a man's pride. Some of them, how they feel. I don't understand the jealousy and all that, what they put out, like, hey, look, right now, this kid got two dads, that they can call dad. That's a bonus. That's good.
Do you feel like a women, single mothers should concentrate on just raising their kids versus trying to be out there dating, especially if they're like younger age?
No, I don't think all of their energy should be put into that kid because you need some you need some you time. You're going to raise this kid and this kid is going to grow up later on down the line to leave and probably disrespect you and all different kind of things because that's what they do. And you're going to feel some type of way. And you didn't spend no time to keep making yourself that woman that you know that you can be. So no, don't put all that energy into them.
So you mentioned some of the risks earlier when we first started the show about dating a single woman. What would you say would be some of the positive takeaways from dating someone who may be a single mom, if there are any?
Some of the positive things, you do get a strong partner who's been in a foundation already, so they know what it is and what it takes to have that core value of what what somebody got, what they're looking for. Plus, if you've been doing it you've been doing it by yourself all this time, you're really going to, it's time for you to spread your wings now and show a person what you really got. So that's a positive, especially if y'all are building together. It's the ones who want to build. That's definitely a positive thing. Once they tell you what their dreams, their ambitions, their plans are, what they want to do. At that point, you're just so caught up. You're like, you may not even care about the kids and how many they have. You just found the woman of your dreams. And she's been there and she's just kept getting rolled over because of the stigma of what they put on the single mothers. And you could be a single mother with one kid. But I really think that is the ones who have a lot of kids. Those are the ones who suffer the most, who has the hardest time. Because the first person that a man is going to think, oh, you want me to be daddy. Oh, it's going, especially they're under 8. Oh, no, that's a lot of money I'm going to kick out just to court you and the kids. We're not doing that. So, yeah, it's definitely hard for you single women out there that's in that category.
And I think some some women make it harder as well. I saw this video where this lady said, "Well, if the man asked to take her out and she has kids," and he was like, she told him, "Well, I have kids and I have to get a babysitter," and she was like, he didn't even ask to pay for the babysitter. He should have been like, "Well, I'll pay for the babysitter," and I was just like, "Why would he pay for the babysitter? They're not his kids. Like, what was you doing before you met him when you wanted to go out on a date? Who was keeping the kids then?" And she didn't want to go out with him because she canceled the date because he didn't offer to pay for the babysitter.
This is what I'm saying. Society is messed up. The thought process and the thinking on some people is just unbelievable these days. So it's hard. It's more better that people stay to themselves. But like I said, when you find that person and they're just checking off everything, it's like, look, I don't want to go no further. What do we need to do here? Let's sit down and see and really see how this works. Let's not just talk about it, but let's put a little action behind it now and see how this works. Let me see if you really about what you were saying, if you about this life.
So some people say that single mothers are desperate to settle down because they have the kids.
I think they're more desperate to get married because I feel as though that they missed that window of marriage. Well, no, let me not say that. That could be after marriage too, because they're getting older. They ain't got that body like that 20-something-year-old that's out there that's twerking in the clubs or doing whatever. So I think they're more eager to really, I wouldn't say desperate, but definitely more eagerly to settle down because it gives them more stability with the kids. They can say, hey, you guys got a dad now or a bonus dad or whatever the case.
Or you could say they're more selective.
It gives them like a sense of relief, like, ooh, okay, yes. I got him and he's helping out and, we're doing this and we're going here, we're doing that. And so I think that's like their ideal. I wouldn't say so much of desperateness.
I think I dated this one guy that I found out he had the one that he was telling me about. And then he started adding kids on to the roster. And I was like, whoa, no, this is not what I signed up for. Like, where are all these mothers? And at that time I was single, I had no kids. And I said, I don't want to be bothered with anybody with any kids. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. Especially, at this age, I'm in my 20s and I didn't have my first child until I was 23. So I was like, I'm not trying to be bothered with anybody with kids. And why didn't it work out with the person that you was with? And then the next person you was with, and then the next person you was with. Now I'm thinking it's supposed to work out with me. I don't want to be the next baby mama.
He had faith that it was going to work with you. You broke that man's heart.
He was okay because I think he had
you little JJ, Bam Bam, Rah, Luke. All y'all could have been a whole family.
He had a couple of more kids after that. I was just like, dude, what's going on?
Oh no, there's a limit.
So some people say dating a single mother, a lot of times you have a lot of drama with the ex. And they feel like the ex always has access to the single mom. Like every time he comes to pick up the kids, they feeling like, oh, she gonna be sleeping with him. He could just get the draws at any time.
I don't think that that happens. I think again, it's a whole ego thing. He's an ex for a reason. That's what you have to realize. Or she's an ex for a reason. That's what you got to realize. So, only time you probably get drama, if you got if you got a lot of baby daddies, one of them is crazy. And he's the one that's going to push your buttons, and he's going to test you all the time. Every time when he come around, or something got to happen, or maybe he ain't just doing nothing. And then she's complaining about him. Like, dude ain't even here, and he's still causing issues and drama in a relationship. So that's where I see things happening and going wrong. You got a bunch of baby dad. One of them is going to be, he going to be crazy. He's going to be a little loony.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, Rizal, what is your advice for someone who may be thinking about entering a relationship with a single mother?
Don't not just kill the idea. There's a lot of great women out here who are single mothers, and it's a wonderful thing. Think about it. She's already a mother. She probably don't want to go through it again. So you don't have to worry about, her going through motherhood. She had her little litter, and y'all could just be a family. Don't knock the idea. There's a lot of great single mothers out here. I definitely will say that. And Lady ReShell is one of them.
Ooh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. It's a wrap. Is that the only words of wisdom that you have right now, Rizal, for the risks and realities and rewards of someone that's dating a single mother?
I wonder what's the poll. We need to do, after the show, do a poll. Let's see how many people are actually out there that's in the dating field who are dating single or they would date. I would like to know those stats before this year end if we can.
All right. I will set up a poll after the show so we can hear from the listeners.
We should start matchmaking.
Really? I'll watch. I'll let you do it and I'll watch.
No.
I don't like setting people up because I don't want to be responsible for it not working. So I don't.
Well, it's a 50-50 chance. You could be responsible for them for finding somebody's happiness. You could be holding somebody back right now because you won't give the person up.
On that note,
is the cup half empty or is it half full? It's a 50-50. It's how you look at it.
That's true. We are out of time. You guys, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next on Intellectual Radio is Pillow Talk with God. Join me next Monday at 6 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell. Co-hosting with me today is Rizal Gilmore, a.k.a. Biz. Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.